Welcome into this Big Ten Today. We are presented by Gatorade on this Friday. I'm Dave Revson. Lots to get to as we head into the weekend, including a couple interviews that I know you will enjoy. But we start with a Big Ten team looking for a World Series berth. That's our big story. UCLA swept its way through the LA Regional last weekend, beating Fresno State, Arizona State, and Cal Irvine to earn a spot in the Super Regionals. A particularly remarkable story considering they finished last year with a losing record. Now the Bruins one step away from a spot in the College World Series, which they won last time they were there a dozen years ago. Standing in their way, a surprising Texas San Antonio team, a matchup we highlight in our game leaders presented by Gatorade. The Roadrunners are in the Super Regional for the first time ever, having knocked off number 2 national seed Texas in Austin last weekend. The numbers show a couple high-scoring teams, both averaging more than 8 runs per game. It's the first time the Bruins have been in a Super Regional in 6 years, and John Savage knows his team is in for a battle.
They've been very good all season long. This is not, for me, a surprise team. I know there's some people that picked them to come out of that regional. So, you know, and some of the experts. So I don't think this is a team that you know, unexpectedly has arrived here in the Super Regional. I think, you know, if you're just a bystander and you don't follow college baseball, like, oh God, they beat Texas. Yeah, I mean, they beat them twice. They actually beat them 3 times. They beat them during the regular season as well. So just very, very much a lot of respect and admiration.
They're a physical bunch. They're old. They do have 7 seniors in their lineup, if I'm not wrong. And they got a really good bullpen. So, you know, it's going to be a good challenge. It's something that, you know, we're looking forward to. And we're just going in there trying to play our brand of baseball.
They're definitely not a team to sleep on. You know, it's not like they're surprisingly coming out of nowhere and just beating teams. They've had a good year, and we're expecting to come back and attack at them. You know what I mean? It's our field. You know, we're going to make sure that they know that. And, yeah, we're excited to play some baseball against UTSA.
Bruins hoping to get to Nebraska, while Nebraska hoops made good on a trip to Las Vegas in April. The first ever champion of the college basketball crown tourney. Huskers top UCF in the title game to capture the school's first postseason championship since winning the NIT nearly 30 years ago. Huskers coach Fred Hoiberg chatting about that and more with our Rick Pizzo.
Well, Fred, let's start with the last game you played because it's the last game you won. So what did winning the crown mean to you, to the players, to the program?
You know what? It was a great finish to the season, and I'm really happy for guys like Bryce Williams, Juwan Gary, for the seniors that stayed together during that time. Not a lot of teams had their whole team intact for the postseason tournament. But our guys, when we got together and talked about, we want to do this, we want to play in the Crown Tournament, being the first year, everybody do a man, and it started with Bryce. He got in the room and said, guys, we're going to do this, both feet in, and we're going to go all out, and we're going to win a championship. And that's exactly what happened after a tough finish to the regular season. We lost 5 in a row. 3 of those by 2 points, one of them in double overtime at Ohio State. So it was a really tough ending, and I'm glad we went out winning that championship. It was pretty special with that group.
You were kind of prescient, though, because after the Iowa loss, you said, I know if this team has a chance to get to the postseason, they'll really do something special in the postseason. Why did you feel that way even after a rough finish?
Yeah, you know what? It was a group of guys that had a lot of pride, and I could see the pain of the way that we finished, because we had a chance. I mean, we were still a bubble team all the way to the end, and we had to win that last game to get a chance to play in the Big Ten tournament, and unfortunately we didn't get that. So to finish out, we had 3 weeks together, and I'll cherish that time with that group. It really was one of the most enjoyable teams that I've ever coached. The last 2 teams were. And, you know, to be able to finish that thing off the right way and really win 2 championships. We won the one in Hawaii, which was great, and then to finish off the one in Las Vegas. And that was a first-class event. It was very well run, and, you know, really happy that we played in it. And I thought Fox did a great job with that tournament.
You brought up Bryce and his leadership, I'm sure not just leading into that tournament, but throughout the course of the year. What did he mean to you as a player and to this program, and kind of the thumbprint that he left on it?
Well, really, when you look at his 2-year career, it was 2 of the best years I think that any player's had at Nebraska, with getting us to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2013 in the previous year, and then really taking on the alpha role with the team last year. And we needed somebody to step up when you lose Keisei Tominaga, when you lose Rink Mast, who was such a huge part of that team, just did a little bit of everything for us, including initiating our offense. You lose Josiah Alec, C.J. Wilcher, Jamarcus Lawrence. So you lose guys that not only were they good players for us, but they were really good leaders. So that's what we needed out of Bryce and Juwan, is for somebody to step up and be the voice and be the consistent voice and the guy that was going to be there for us every day. And that really, more than I think even what he did on the court, to see the emergence of Bryce into that leadership role was really fun. And he's helping himself. He's played great in the combine and set himself up well for his future.
Yeah, you played in the NBA, you coached in the NBA. What is his future at the next level?
Well, because of his measurements, at that level, it's very important to have positional size. And he measured 6'6" barefoot with a 6'11" wingspan. So he's got the length, and I think he's got the skill set to be able to play. He can score at all three levels. We put the ball in his hands a lot. That's where at Charlotte he played more 3-4. And with us, even last year, we ended up starting him at the 1, and he really grew in that role, I thought, this year as well. So, he's got athleticism, he's got pop, he has the ability to defend, but what he does best is put the ball in the basket, leading the Big Ten in scoring this year, and he can do it at all three levels.
You have any good stories on what the guys spent their crown money on?
Well, I saw a couple of our players walking out. They've got the Crystal Palace shops. We stayed at the Aria Hotel, which is right in between those shops, between the Aria and the Cosmopolitan, and those are pretty high-end stores. And I saw a couple of our guys walking out with bags, and I said, fellas, let's save a little bit of that money. You don't have to spend it all. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the great things about the Crown, is you're competing for a prize. And, those guys all split $300,000. We've split it up evenly, almost like a playoff share. Not just the guys, putting the ball in the basket, but the scout team. Those guys had every bit as big a part as anybody on that roster. So, we split it evenly, thought that was the best thing to do, and everybody was bought into it.
Your portal class is pretty fascinating. The name Jamarcus Lawrence already came up. He's now coming back to Lincoln, one of those transfers. Who else that you got out of the portal do you feel like will step in and will be ready to contribute kind of right away?
Well, I think they all have the ability to help us in some form or fashion, and I'm really excited about Price Sanford. When you look at his numbers, they're very similar in his first 2 years to what his brother Peyton numbers were. So I think he's really primed to take a jump. Our big kid Ugi from Lithuania averaged about 17 and 7. Last year at Central Michigan, very unique skill set. Jared Garcia is a player that we got at the 4, very powerful, athletic, another guy that can make a shot. Will Cooper is a kid that can really shoot it from Air Force, had 6 threes in a game a year ago. One of the guys that's as important as anything that didn't play last year, as we talked earlier, was Rink. And, getting him back on the floor, he led us in assists at 6'9", and he also led us in rebounding. Leo Curtis is a player we got, a 7-footer. We got him late from Iceland, another guy to give us depth on our front line. And then Kendall Blue is another kind of 6'6" combo guard, plays with the ball in his hands from St. Thomas, that gives us really good length and positional size at the point guard spot. So I'm excited about our portal class. I think they'll fit in really well with our group.
I'm glad you let us know that he goes by Oogie, because I was going to butcher his entire name.
So was I.
That's the whole thing. That's an absolutely smart move.
Ugnius is, yes. But yes. Great kid, and again, that's one thing. Again, the last 2 teams just really started the season before that with Sam Griesel, Emmanuel Bandamel, Juwan Gary, Derek Walker. They really helped flip the culture, and we've got this program, I think, in a pretty good place.
I do want to talk a little bit more about Rink, because I don't think that people maybe that weren't super familiar with your program realized how important of a piece he was to everything that you really did offensively. As you stated, he could bring the ball up. Everything kind of flowed through him. With him back, how much easier does it make things for everybody else around him?
Yeah, and not only that, but the gravity that he has to pull the defender away from the basket. That's one thing we really missed at that spot, was playmaking. And, you look at Tominaga, how not only did he shoot the ball at a very high clip, but he also was second in the Big Ten in 2-point field goal percentage. A lot of that is because we had bigs that could really pass the ball, and they had to be guarded at the three-point line because of their ability to shoot. So that's one thing, with Rink back on the floor and his rebounding, his experience. He's a very good pick-and-roll defender. But I do think we've really addressed a big need, which was shooting. We just didn't shoot the ball as well from start to finish last year. We got it going at the end. It makes you a lot better coach when your players make shots like we did at the end of the season. And, again, hopefully getting some momentum heading into this offseason.
Fred, let's finish with the Nebraska athletic department as a whole. Matt Rule takes the team back to a bowl game for the first time in forever. Amy Williams and the women's basketball team back to the tournament. The volleyball team doing what John Cook's volleyball teams always did before he kind of rode off into the sunset, literally and figuratively. What's it like to be part of that department right now, and what seem to be some pretty halcyon days for Nebraska?
Well, and Rhonda Revelle and Jordy Ball, what they're doing in softball, and Jordy is putting together an absolutely historic season with 20 home runs and 20 wins on the mound. It's just been incredible to watch. But it really is. I mean, the support you have at Nebraska with the fan base. You look at over 93,000 at the volleyball game, which was one of the most impressive sporting events I have ever been at. Coach Rule, just the passion and the energy that he brings on a daily basis, I think sets the tone for the entire athletic department. Danny Busboom-Kelly, I think, will do a great job. She knows, the culture and the standard of playing at Nebraska at an All-American level, replacing a legend in John Cook. Will Bolt with baseball, and really everybody down the line. So it's a special place, and I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Not politicking for Troy's job when he's done, are you? I mean, you got almost all the teams figured out,
No chance. Yeah.
Fred, we always appreciate your time.
All right, Rick, good to see you.
Congratulations to this year's Lisa Byington Award winner. It is recent Indiana graduate Kara Adams, honored as the top female broadcaster in the Big Ten Network Student U program. The Lisa Byington Award, named after our colleague, who's the first female to do play-by-play for a Big Ten Network football game, still works for the network, also the voice of the Milwaukee Bucks. The award comes with an immersive experience at the network, as well as mentoring from Lisa. And Kara Adams joins us now. Kara, congratulations on winning this award. It is a huge honor. How did you find out that you had won?
Well, first of all, thank you. It was amazing. So they actually kind of tricked me. Lauren, who helps deliver all the announcements and stuff for the awards, she emailed me and was like, we need to have another interview with you just to kind of go over a couple more things after reading your application. So I was all set and ready for my interview. And then she told me at the beginning, she was like, we have some other people who might pop on later on in the interview. And then it was Lisa, and she popped on and told me, this is not an interview. You're actually the winner. So I was really surprised. In the back of my mind, I was like, who's popping on? Maybe it's Lisa, maybe it's someone else. I don't know, but it was awesome. It was just an amazing feeling, and I was surprised but also so grateful, and it was a big honor for me.
Well, you came close to winning last year. You were a finalist for a year ago, and I know you got some feedback from Lisa. What did she tell you that may have helped you go from a finalist to the winner?
Yeah, she definitely provided a lot of amazing feedback and just kind of working on things with my on-camera presence. I think one of the biggest things that I took away was it was something so simple, but she just reminded me of my feedback to smile more. And I think that was something I've always wanted to work on, but it sounds so easy, but it's something that sometimes I would forget to do on camera, but I should be smiling. It's fun. We're talking about sports. We're talking about these amazing athletes and live broadcasts and whatnot. So that was some of the feedback she got, and just kind of my on-camera presence and how to deliver the most important thing in the top of my hit and moving that up and that sort of thing. But I think I also got a lot of good feedback on just kind of how to really step into more of a leadership role around my peers at IU and just kind of be a good female role model for younger girls getting into the IU sports media program and that sort of thing.
Give us a bit of your background, Kara. How did you choose Indiana?
Well, I'm from a big IU family, so I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, but my mom and dad went to IU. They met there. My older sister went to IU as well. And so kind of growing up, all I ever knew was IU basketball, IU football, and just kind of being able growing up to go to some amazing games at Assembly Hall and being a part of that atmosphere. As a fan first, I knew I eventually wanted a career in sports and doing something like that. And I played sports, and I was just always around people growing up, whether it was at school or sports or just outside of any extracurricular activity. So I always say sports media combines all my favorite things of just talking and being around people, but also talking about sports and being around sports that can just bring so many types of people together.
Help people understand the Student U program. It's an amazing program, and I'm really proud of it. I mean, I think it's one of the best things we do here at the Big Ten Network. I wish that it had been in place when I was a student in the Big Ten, but help people understand the opportunities that it provides you and what you were able to do.
Yeah, it provides just amazing hands-on experiences because you're getting thrown into a live broadcast. And it's all student run, which is one of the best parts. So everything from the control room and your producer, all your peers, and then you're just working with your friends and a lot of times who are play-by-play in color. And so you're doing live broadcasts for whether it's men's soccer, women's soccer, men's basketball or women's basketball, baseball, just every sport has games on Big Ten Plus. So you're able to just get those opportunities and do live broadcasts and I started doing them my sophomore year. So my first ever broadcast was a field hockey game and I was just kind of thrown into it, but kind of figured out how it worked and how I needed to prepare after my first one. And then I was really able to grow from there. But through the program too, I've just been able to be a part of just amazing games, games with some players that are just awesome and just amazing moments too.
Well, it's been interesting. I watched through your materials, which were great. And that'll probably come as no surprise to people watching you right now because you're obviously doing a really good job with this as well. But one thing that really resonated with me with some of the packages and stuff that you have put together was you're a storyteller and you try to find stories that are a little off the beaten path. You did a really good one about Mike Woodson and the woman who was his academic advisor when he was at IU, who then he ultimately ended up hiring as part of his staff when he got the job as the head coach. You did a story about Indiana basketball managers. Why are you driven to cover those stories? What interests you about those stories that are maybe a little bit off the beaten path, that aren't just about the superstar player?
Well, I think those people are just so important as well as the amazing athletes that are playing. But I think it's just cool to be able to tell their story as well, because whether being a manager for any team, you're dedicating hours of your life and time to a team and you're not the ones getting all the glory, and all the people, people know the athletes at IU and whatever school you may be at. But if you're a manager, you're more behind the scenes. So it was always just fascinating to me to be what really motivates them? And they're the ones helping get rebounds and throwing out balls to people and stuff like that. And just kind of why does that motivate them? And why do they want to do that? So I think being able to tell their story was just really cool because they have a story too, and they have a background too of why they wanted to do this. And so kind of finding those stories and being able to tell other people's stories was something that I really enjoyed doing at IU, and just kind of those people who dedicate so much of their time too, but might not always get the most credit. So I really enjoyed being able to tell their story and try and get them out there a little too.
Well, you told them really well, and it certainly distinguished the work that you put together there. It was excellent. So now, as I mentioned, you get this opportunity to hang out with Lisa, get this immersive experience at the Big Ten Network. She's already got you smiling more, and she's got you putting the most important information at the top of the story. So what else do you hope to glean from her?
I definitely hope just to learn how to kind of present myself as I really start my career, wherever that may be, but just kind of how to make those new connections with people wherever I may be going, whether it's local TV or whatnot, and just kind of how to present myself, how to just be a confident woman, just going into new atmospheres every day, and just kind of really, obviously, Lisa will be an amazing mentor, and just kind of learning from her about obviously working in the field, but also just kind of how to balance everything going on in your life while working in such an amazing field like sports.
I can't imagine a better mentor, honestly, than Lisa. She is someone who I have just immense respect for, and it's just makes me proud to know her. She's fabulous. So the fact that your wagon is going to be hitched to her is really good for you. Give me 10 years from now, if you could write this script to not necessarily end, but to have a middle of the ideal scenario, what would that be? Where do you see yourself in 10 years and 15 years?
Hopefully as maybe either doing sideline reporting for a big network or just as a reporter in general in a big market. Just I love storytelling and doing different stories. So hopefully I'm still finding those stories kind of off the beaten path one way or another, wherever that may be, or doing live broadcasts with Sideline again, or hosting shows, who knows, but definitely somewhere where I'm just around people and trying to tell their stories to the best of my ability.
Well, Kara, I have no doubt you will do that well. Congratulations on winning this award. I hope that we see you when you're here at the network in August. But enjoy this. You deserve it. Enjoy being a college grad. I know in some ways it's daunting, but the world is your oyster. Best of luck here, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, thank you. Thanks. It was great talking to you.
It is volleyball day here on the Big Ten Network. All day we're taking a look back at some of the most notable matches involving Big Ten teams during the 2024 season. That, of course, included Penn State winning its 8th national championship in program history, beating Louisville in the title game last December. That match airs at 10 Eastern tonight. What a year it was for Big Ten volleyball. You had Penn State's reverse sweep against Nebraska in the Final Four, got them to that title game. John Cook's final win as the Huskers head coach, beating Wisconsin in the NCAA tournament. Lots of great stuff in the volleyball world. That is going to do it for us. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dave Revson. Have a great weekend. We will see you next time on Big Ten Today.